Good morning, dear students. In our previous lecture, we have derived the expression for collision number. So today we will derive the expression for collision frequency. As we very well know, the collision number is what? It is the number of collision made by a single molecule in 1 second. And it is given by the expression Nc equal to square root of 2 pi v sigma square n. Now we very well know the number of molecules present per centimeter cube are n molecules, and the number of collision made by a single molecule in 1 second is Nc. So the total number of collision made by n molecules in 1 second will be n times of Nc. We will have to multiply Nc by n to get the total number of collision made by n molecules present in 1 centimeter cube of the gas in 1 second. And this is known as the collision frequency. So we can get collision frequency by multiplying Nc by n, so that we are getting here Nc into n equal to under root 2 pi v sigma square n square. Now, one mistake we are doing here to calculate for collision frequency, that is, we are counting each collision done by a molecule with the other molecule 2 times. If we multiply this Nc by n to get the expression for Z, we are counting each collision 2 times here. How this is? As you very well know, each collision involves 2 molecules. The number of molecular collision occurring in 1 centimeter cube of the gas in 1 second will be half of the total number of collision obtained by multiplying Nc by n. For example, first molecule can collide with second, third, fourth and so on. Now the second molecule that can collide with first, third and fourth and so on. Similarly, third molecule can collide with all other molecules except third. So, when we are counting the total number of collision undergone by n number of molecules in 1 second, then each collision is counted here 2 times. For example, first is colliding with 2, second is also colliding with 1. So this collision has been counted 2 times. Here as well here. The collision between first and second is 1. But we are counting it 2 times. First molecule is colliding with second one. Here second molecule is colliding with 1. So this collision has been counted 2 times. Similarly, first molecule is colliding with third one. And here we are counting third molecule is colliding with first one. So these 2 collisions are the same thing. And we are counting here it for 2 times. So we will have to correct this to get the final expression for Z. So the final expression of Z will be half of the value obtained by multiplying collision number by n. So final expression for collision frequency will be 1 by under root 2 pi v sigma square n square. This is the total number of collision made by n number of molecules present in 1 centimeter cube of the gas in 1 second. Now from kinetic theory of gases, we very well know the average velocity is given by this expression, where average velocity is square root of 8 RT by pi m. So substituting the value of this average velocity in expression of collision frequency, we are getting here Z is equal to 1 by under root 2 pi square root of 8 RT by pi m sigma square n square. On further calculating, we are getting Z is equal to 2 sigma square n square root of pi RT by m. Now we can use this expression to find out the effect of temperature and pressure on collision frequency. As we are looking here from this equation, this Z is directly dependent on the temperature as well as dependent on the number of molecules present per centimeter cube of the gas. So, on increasing temperature, the average velocity of molecule is increasing, and Z is directly proportional to the average velocity. So, we can say if we will increase temperature here, the Z will increase. Similarly, we can also say with increasing temperature, this velocity is increasing, that's why Z is increasing. So, Z is directly dependent on temperature T. Now, what about pressure? On increasing pressure, the number of molecules per centimeter cube of the gas will increase. And we can see here, this Z is directly dependent on N square. So as the number of molecules per centimeter cube of the gas is increasing with pressure, so Z will also increase with increasing pressure. So on both increasing temperature and pressure, the collision frequency increases. Now, under normal condition of temperature and pressure, you will see that the value of collision frequency is very high. And its value is 10 to the power 25 to 10 to the power 28 collisions per second. So it is very interesting that collision frequency is so high even at normal condition of temperature and pressure. Now next one is mean free path. As the name indicating mean free path, so this is the mean of free path. Now what is the free path we will find here? We very well know the gas molecules are constantly moving in different directions with different velocity. Now the distance traveled by a molecule before colliding with another molecule is known as free path. A molecule is undergoing collision. It is going through a number of molecules in its path when it is moving from one point to another point. So the distance traveled by a molecule before colliding with another molecule, during that distance it is not colliding with any molecule, that is known as the free path. The distance traveled by a molecule before colliding with other molecule will not always be the same. Suppose this molecule is moving from this point to this point and it is undergoing a number of collision on its path. Now before undergoing the second one collision, it is traversing this path. Again it is traversing this path before colliding another one. Similarly it is traversing this path before colliding the next one. So these paths will not be same. Before undergoing the subsequent collision, it is going through the free path and that free path will not be always same. So we will have to take the average of these paths to get the free path of the given molecule. So the mean distance traveled by a molecule between any two successive collisions will be known as mean free path. When we will take the average of these paths, that will give you the mean free path. So the mean distance traveled by a molecule between any two successive collisions is known as mean free path and it is denoted by the symbol L. Suppose v centimeter per second is the average velocity. So in 1 second the distance traveled by the molecule is v centimeter. Now dividing this v by number of collisions which a molecule undergoes in 1 second. We are having total distance traveled by a molecule in 1 second, that is v, and total number of collisions made by a molecule in 1 second, that is nc. So what we will get here? dividing this average distance traveled per second by the number of collision made by single molecule per second will give you the mean free path. Dividing total distance divided by number of collision, you will get the distance traveled in one collision. That is the average distance traveled in one collision, and that is known as mean free path. So we are having L is equal to V by NC. We are having NC equal to under root 2V 2 pi V sigma square n. This expression we have already derived. So substituting the value of NC here, the value of mean free path will be equal to V by under root 2 pi V sigma square n. Now cancelling this V, we are having here L equal to 1 by under root 2 pi sigma square n. So this is the expression for mean free path, where L is equal to 1 by under root 2 pi sigma square n. Now what we are observing from this expression? This mean free path is inversely proportional to the number of molecules present per centimeter cube of the gas. So if we will increase the pressure on the gas, the value of N will increase. So therefore L will decrease. So mean free path will be inversely proportional to the pressure of the gas. On increasing pressure, mean free path will decrease. Similarly, the mean free path is inversely proportional to the square of molecular diameter, sigma square. So greater will be the size of the molecule, shorter will be the mean free path. Next one is mean free path is not depending here on the velocity of gas molecules, as the velocity has been cancelled out in this expression. So mean free path is independent of the velocity of gas molecules. Now what will be the effect of temperature and pressure? We can directly obtain by converting it into the expression in which we are having pressure and temperature. Suppose N mole of an ideal gas are there, then PV will be equal to nRT. So N by V will be equal to P by RT, where N by V is the number of moles per unit volume of the gas. Now representing this N by V as N dash, we can write here N dash is equal to P by RT, where N dash is what? This is the number of moles per unit volume of the gas. Now to get the number of molecules per centimeter of the gas, we will have to multiply this N dash by Avogadro number. So the number of molecules per unit volume will be equal to N dash into N naught, which is equal to N. So multiplying this P by RT by Avogadro number, we are getting here number of molecules per centimeter cube of the gas. So L will be equal to 1 by under root 2 pi sigma square N, where we are putting the value of N equal to Pn naught by RT. From this we are getting here L is equal to KT divided by under root 2 pi sigma square P, where K is what? This is the Boltzmann constant obtained by dividing gas constant by Avogadro number. So this K is equal to R by N naught. So we are having here for the given gas, this L is proportional to T by P. That is, it is directly proportional to T and inversely proportional to P. Now, we very well know from the Gay-Lussac's law, for a given mass of the gas at constant volume, pressure is directly proportional to temperature. So at constant volume, P by T is equal to constant. So if we will keep the volume constant, L will be proportional to constant. independent of temperature and pressure. So there will be no effect of temperature and pressure on mean free path if we are keeping the volume of gas constant. Otherwise, L is directly proportional to temperature and inversely proportional to pressure. On increasing temperature, this mean path will increase, and on decreasing pressure, this mean path will increase. So this will be inversely proportional to pressure and directly proportional to temperature. So this is all about the mean free path. In the next lecture, we will continue with the concept of ideal gases and real gases. Thank you.